HomeTech Podcast for Friday, July 26th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology. I've been gone for a week. I was in the woods. There's no technology in the woods.
You survived. I was worried.
Yeah. Anything big happen while I was gone? Like anything major?
No.
I don't think so.
No, nothing exciting. I know a lot of people working on the weekend, but that's it.
When did you come back, Seth? Because the CrowdStrike thing happened on Friday. So
what's that?
Were you responsible?
I was not responsible for the CrowdStrike thing.
That likely happened when you were gone, huh?
Interesting
coincidence. That's all it is. Yeah, I imagine people are still working on repairing all the Windows, blue screen of death Windows machines out there.
Yeah, I keep getting requests. We do third party work, and I get all the emails and everything. And I think like a quarter of them in the past couple of days have been CrowdStrike repair or remedy or whatever it is.
It's crazy. You have to actually physically go to the computer and like do something to it. I guess I saw Microsoft had a USB drive that you could use to fix it now instead of rebooting it 15 times.
As I say, just reboot it 15 times and it may or may not work.
No big deal.
9 million computers, I think, is what the count was up to.
Yeah, like 8.5 million, something like that. So just a small fraction of the Windows computers out there.
Let's say it's like 1% or something, right?
It's enough to matter, I guess.
I didn't think it was that many in the grand scheme of things. It's just all the important stuff that people need, like planes and banks and stuff like that. You know,
shopping experiences and
could have been like Amazon Prime Video or something.
Right. Well, speaking of Amazon Prime, I guess Prime Day came and went as well while I was gone. So, do you guys make out with anything crazy? I didn't even look at the site.
How could you not look at the site?
He was camping, Captain.
I didn't have any. I didn't really have any. They
don't have Amazon Prime in the forest.
Yeah, it really wouldn't have mattered if I had wanted to buy anything.
I'm sure they deliver to forests too. They deliver everywhere.
That's true.
I got some good deals actually. Last Prime I didn't, but this Prime I actually picked up. I stocked up on a bunch of home essentials and stuff, but I think my big buy this time was the meter block.
Oh yeah.
So I got a 4 Pro version of the meter block. I love the meter devices. They're just like, they help you barbecue so much easier than cutting into the meat to see if it's done. No, this thermometer tells you when it's done, when to take it off, everything. So the block has 4 thermometers, and the nice part about it is it extends the range. So they connect the sensors will connect to the block over Bluetooth, and then the block connects to your Wi-Fi. So you could be anywhere and get your updates on your meat.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. That looks like a chunky boy there with how big it is.
It's nice. I got, and surprisingly, it was like almost 50% off. Like it was on my Christmas list. But then I saw this and I said, screw the Christmas list and just bought it.
I'm just getting it. Yeah. It's not a bad deal. 50% off. That's pretty huge. So
yeah,
good deal.
That was my big buy.
Yeah, I didn't buy anything from Amazon for Prime Day, but I did stumble across some deals at Lowe's.
Mm-hmm.
They were clearancing off a bunch of Philips Hue bulbs. And so they're clearancing off their white filament ambient bulbs, their recessed bulbs, and a couple other things. And so the recessed bulbs that I've been buying are normally $50 or $60 each. $50 for the 6-inch white or $60 for the 6-inch color one. And you can obviously find them on sale and stuff like that, but they had them literally half off.
Oh, wow.
And so I bought 6 of the white filament bulbs and then 4 more of the recessed bulbs. And so now all the bulbs in my house are Philips Hue.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
It was just playing in the mud, I guess, at that point. So
yeah, that happens.
Yeah. There we go. Well, it was a good week. It was hot, but it was good. It was a good week. We had fun. So
did you guys rough it? Did you guys like camp with a tent?
Yeah, we camped like half the week. We were in a tent, and then we had a little cabin thing we went to.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a great time. My daughter got to swim in the river, which is unique because you can't do that here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
There's water in Florida. There's guaranteed to be an alligator that will eat you inside of it. And it was kind of nice. I was like, hey, we can go swim in this river. It was freezing cold, but, at least there was nothing that would eat you inside of it. So it's kind of nice. All right. Well, we do have a couple of HomeTech headlines this week. So what do you say we jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, after losing $25 billion, reportedly, Amazon plans to launch a paid version of Alexa that potentially may cost up to $10 per month. It could debut soon, and employees are I guess the rumor is that this is coming soon. The new Alexa, it's going to talk a little bit better. It's going to have generative AI responses. It's going to handle multiple tasks at once. It's going to learn user routines. All this fancy stuff they've been talking about. $10 per month. Gavin, would you do this?
Yeah, so I know they lost a lot of money on the Alexa devices, right? But they have us in a good spot right now because they got the devices out there in many people's homes, and now they can start to add some value to it and get a subscription. So at $10 a month, if they're building in like a much smarter Alexa where, current Alexa is kind of like prompt based. So you have to, the command turn on and then the device, the lights, right? It's just basic prompt based. But if they turn it into like a chat GPT type of thing where you could just say whatever you want and it'll figure out what you want to do and stuff like that. And I can even maybe program it from stopping people from turning on every light in the house, then it may be just worth it. Like on top of other value added things they can add for $10 a month, it may be worth it so that, you don't have to worry about these things. But it also depends on what other features, what other value they'll add with it. And that $10 a month better be like per account. Like that better cover all my devices because I'm not paying $100 a month, $10 for each device for something like this, right? So it all depends. I will see when it's released, but if it's $10 a month and it gives me some good value and it covers all my devices, I could see myself just adding it to my Prime membership.
Honestly, if they just did something where if they could just do something where you could tell Alexa how to program itself for the home automation side of things, that would be worth the $10 a month too.
Yeah, I think
so that way you don't have to go and build the automation list. You could just tell it to do it, and I would totally pay $10 a month for that.
Yeah, if you could say turn on this light when somebody walks in this room and then turn it off when someone leaves, and make that a routine, then bam, like that's worth it. Being able to do stuff like that, right?
Take my money, Amazon.
Yeah, I do that for like the first month, and then you're like, all right, I'm good. Like, where's the repeated value in
well,
that?
I guess that's true. Yeah. No, then your automations disappear. They just get deleted.
Right.
Amazon's like, nope, sorry.
An amazing experience. Yeah.
But that's just one example. I'm just saying there's so much more potential there. Like where it comes to the naming of devices, I can say open the blinds. I can call them curtains. I can call them shades. I can call them whatever. But it would know I want those things hanging over my windows to open.
Right.
And that's the type of thing where it's I'd really like to see improvements on. And if they do, $10 a month is a good price for that.
We'll have to see. It's a to me, it's a kind of steep for the value that it's going to derive from like my use cases of using the Amazon Alexa, which we're basically setting kitchen timers. But who knows? Maybe they'll do a little bit better with the conversational aspect of it, and also be able to program itself. That would actually be pretty cool. I don't know. I'd have to see all the features that you get out of that $10 a month. It just seems a bit much, but we'll see. All right. We've got Sonos is rumored to be preparing a new flagship soundbar. It's codenamed Lasso and set to replace the Sonos Arc. Lasso features a design similar to the Arc, but boasts complete overhaul of internal components and the speaker drivers. It's expected to cost over $1,200 and will be the first Sonos products to integrate with the technology from Mate. I forget how they that one pronounced. It's a startup they acquired back in 2022. Mate had some innovative transducers that allowed for smaller and lighter form factors without compromising audio quality. I remember when they bought this, but I wasn't really sure what they were doing. So I guess it allows you to have like lighter speakers and not have reliance on expensive neodymium magnets. So yeah, whatever. Like the more premium speakers that are always made out there. So will be interesting to see if they integrate that. And when this thing comes out, this what was this over at The Verge? So it's definitely coming out because this is where Patrick Spence, I guess, goes to spread his rumors.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they have a good connection there. Yeah, honestly, I'm interested in a new higher end soundbar from Sonos. I personally think the Sonos Arc isn't that great of a sounding device. I mean, it's $900 and it you really need to add the surrounds and the subwoofer to really make it complete.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, for $900, it is kind of lacking unless you're just listening to music. For music, it sounds pretty good. But a lot of TV shows and movies and stuff, it doesn't sound that great. So I'm interested to see this new speaker technology actually come out with some Sonos devices and see if it really does make a big difference. I think they have some room to grow here, and I think people are willing to pay more for a product, but it's going to be hard to sell it if it doesn't sound much better than the Arc. And so we'll see.
It's going to cost more than the Arc.
For sure. And having a soundbar, is one thing. Like, your surround or not, your sound will really pop once you add that sub and some surrounds, right? Like, just having a sound bar, it sounds better than the TV, but you need the other speakers too.
I would really say just the sub at minimum. Like,
yeah, sub definitely makes a bigger difference.
I have a little small LG soundbar that I bought like open box from Walmart or something, and it works fine, but it's just a small, like, tiny $50 soundbar. But like, if you add a sub along with it, it opens it up to a whole another level of performance out of a small device. Whatever Sonos device you're using, pairing it with a sub is going to make it sound a lot better, because they do like stop sending lower frequencies to the smaller speaker and send it down to the sub. So they're smart about it, but man, it does fill up the room a lot better. So
honestly, what Sonos needs to do is just allow multiple speaker support for the fronts. So that way you can use like a Sonos Beam with two Sonos Era 100 or 300s for your front, left and right and center. And it would sell so many more speakers.
Yeah, rather than just a single sound bar. Yep,
yeah, I mean, because that's really where it needs to go. But yeah.
All right. Well, we've got some new product from Lutron. They've expanded the Caseta product line, and they have a new Diva Smart Dimmer ELV Plus and additional color options for the Pico Paddle remotes. Diva Dimmer ELV Plus supports phase selectable dimming for various lighting types, including LED, MLV, ELV, incandescent, and halogen. So just about everything that you want can come off this. And you got new Pico Paddle remotes. What do they come in? Like ivory, light almond, black, gray, and brown. So not bad. 10-year battery off the Pico Paddle remotes as well. Yay. Yay, Lutron.
You did it.
You did it.
New colors.
New colors and light switches that I don't know. Like, sometimes you run across, it's not often, but sometimes you do run across like a load that doesn't work and you have to go this route. This thing sounds like it does everything. So in some cases you might have to use this dimmer and not the other ones. But I don't know. It would be tricky to it's like a universal dimmer, right? But it would be tricky to always get that one. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, that's always annoying with lighting.
Yeah.
And it's always like a Friday afternoon and trying to finish up the project. What do you mean it doesn't work with these light bulbs? Well, Lutron really needs to release. They need to release like an in-wall relay, kind of like the little Shellys and the little micro relays that you put behind light switches, because that would expand so many other stuff to Lutron. Just give me an in-wall relay, Lutron. I know you won't do it, but
yep. We got some companies mattering this week. iRobot still in their hat into the ring here. They've unveiled a new Roomba Combo 10 Max. It's a vacuum remote. It's a robot vacuum and a mop that says it reduces the labor by washing its own mop. This thing's wild. It's got a spoiler on top of it. No, wait, that's the mop. It's really strange. The mop looks like it can ride on top of the vacuum, which is kind of strange. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so you don't have to. So the reason they did this supposedly is so that way they don't have to put a heating element in the base of the vacuum, and so as it drives around, it automatically dries the mop head
just with air.
But it seems like it would make it much higher, so it's not going to fit into as tight of places. But
right.
I don't know if that's a big issue or not, but it looks pretty funny. If I saw this in somebody's house, I'd be like, what's wrong with your robot vacuum? Why is it doing that?
I assume it could use its little arms there, and that mop can't be a spoiler all the time. It's got to touch the ground.
Well, no, it drops it down to the ground, but whenever it's not in use, it sits up like that so that way it can dry it off.
No, that's very strange.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's weird. And I understand the reasoning because they don't want to build a heating element into the base of the robot vacuum, but
I think they should just keep it as a spoiler and make it go real fast.
yeah, put some flames on it. RGBs.
Some more horsepower.
HomeTech sticker.
That's right, HomeTech sticker.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want a HomeTech sticker on that thing.
I'm registering the domains Roomba spoilers now. So
No, it's got some cool features. You don't have to change the water for 1 week, they said. The dirt bag, can last 60 days or more, I think. So, they're just catching up right now with some of the other vacuums out there, I find.
and this one also will support Matter, I guess.
Yeah, it says later this year, so don't buy it now. If you want Matter, wait till it comes out with Matter.
Right. Spoilers matter.
That's right.
I mean, speaking of things that are going to get Matter here, Eve Systems has announced its new Eve weather station. It's a battery-powered e-ink display. It's got a battery-powered e-ink display capable of measuring temperature, humidity, and weather trends. It now supports Matter as via update. This update enhances the capability with major home systems, including Google Home, Samsung SmartThings, Amazon Alexa, Apple Home, and the device is priced at $79.95. There you go. Matter over Thread.
That's pretty cool. I like the looks of this, honestly. And it's something like we have temperature and humidity sensors all over our house, but none of them have a display. So I have to look at my phone or my computer or something to see what the temperature is. Not that big a deal for most of my rooms, but maybe in a distant room where maybe you don't have a thermostat or something, you put this in there, or an area you're tracking temperature, like your 3 Seasons room or something like that. So
Yeah.
I like the look of it. It looks nice. And I don't think $80 is that bad for this kind of device with a display and everything. I'm pretty sure I paid like $30 or $40 for my temperature sensors.
Yeah, for those kind of sensors, I have the Quara ones with the display on it. They also do air quality monitoring. So I know what you mean, though. I have them in a few rooms, and it's just nice to see sometimes the temperature in that room.
Yeah,
I've got the SwitchBot sitting over here, the hub, and it's got a little screen on it. Yeah, it's sometimes nice to look over and see it, but this looks better than the SwitchBot.
Well, everything looks better than the SwitchBot.
SwitchBot also has like a cable, like the USB cable, the power cable that comes out of it. It has inline the temperature sensor on the power cable. So not only can I not cut or change out the power. Yeah.
That makes no sense.
25-foot power cable that comes along with it. It has has this temperature sensor. It's kind of annoying. So
yeah, that's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of these, but it's for the Govee, and I bought it to pair with my Govee's smart space heater. Because then it'll use the thermostat in that for actual temperature control and everything. So I put it on the opposite end of the room. It talks to each other and has a nice little display on it. So
does it have RGB? W?
The space heater does, but the display does not.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Can it really be Govee unless it has RGB on it?
That's right. I need RGB, and you can change the color. So, if you want it red because it's on fire, you can do that, or maybe blue so you can convince yourself it's colder.
I guess so. There you go. All right. This little piece came up over The Verge. And I thought we'd drop it in kind of like to mention things. Moving a smart home can involve careful planning and decision-making about what devices you want to take or leave. And I think this is byline. Yeah, this is Jennifer Pattison Tui. She wrote a nice little article here about how to move a smart home and what, like things to consider when you leave. I do want to point people, I think Richard and Adam did an episode of the Smart Home Show that was pretty much dedicated, maybe an episode or two of it, that was dedicated to how Richard packed up and either moved or left things behind in his smart home when he moved. So if you are moving and you're looking for tips and tricks on what to do, this article and maybe that podcast, I'll dig it up and put a link in the show notes. Check them out.
I'm gonna let you in on a hint too if you're listening. Nobody wants your smart home stuff, so they want your Ring doorbell and maybe your garage controller, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I would seriously consider taking everything out and just saying nothing exists. There's a bunch of wire everywhere, and good luck.
Yeah.
I think I have to leave the lighting control at this point because I've done a lot of like creative wiring. I guess
that's what you'd call it.
Yeah. Well, I have more light switches, I guess, in the house. Well, I have more the light switches control more loads than than a regular light switch would, right? So like, we have like keypads installed instead of light switches.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to leave that in place. But yeah, I would say for the most part, take everything out and save yourself the headache. You have to do all that before you put the house on the market. So if you're thinking of selling your house, rip everything out that you don't want to leave behind, or just leave it all in the house and let somebody else deal with it.
Yeah. Well, and especially depending on how old it is, right? I mean, like my stuff, a lot of my switches and stuff, there's Zigbee and Z-Wave and all that stuff, so I'll probably take those. But it's like everything else, I'm like, I don't know, like my thermostat, I don't care.
I would say even leave TVs at this point. Like, I mean,
TVs. Yeah, we have a lot of people that leave their TVs.
Yeah.
And some people like that. They don't have to worry about the TVs when they move in and stuff. They get some time to get some new ones and everything. So
yeah, exactly. The TVs these days are a few $100 and they're probably bigger and better than what you have on the wall.
I do see this question pop up quite a bit, though, so I'm glad to see this article come out. It's always funny, though, whenever this question comes up on like Reddit or something, there's always like a couple people in the comments that are like, oh my gosh, I'll print out like an instruction booklet and like how to access my cameras and how to turn on the lights and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, well, first of all, that's your problem. Nobody should need an instruction booklet to turn on your lights.
Yeah. Gavin, if you ever move, are you going to leave everything behind? Just like somebody else's problem?
No, I'd take it all because people would probably come in and rip it out anyway and replace it with dumb stuff because they don't know what it is. So I just take it all. And most of the stuff I've installed, actually, I didn't do a lot of funky wiring in my house. I think there was maybe a modified 1 3-way switch to work how I want it to work. But other than that, it's pretty easy to just take it out and put standard stuff back in. I've always maintained that when I did my stuff.
Yep, makes sense. I'm not moving anytime soon, so it sounds like too much work. I have enough projects to do.
So I'm waiting for the article, what to take if you get kicked out of your house. You know? That might happen before I move.
I was going to say, I don't think you're going to be able to get anything if you get kicked out.
Well, no, she'll definitely want the switches changed back, you know.
Just hire the pool boy for that.
A coworker of mine had a friend who went through a kind of a messy divorce, and I guess the husband had a bunch of cameras and smart home things that were still attached, all Home Assistant, and something like 60 or so like ESP32 devices on the network. When he showed me the LAN scan, a lot of them were like shades, like they had gone and redone some like Home Depot shades with some ESP modules or something like that, he was telling me. But yeah, that can definitely get messy. that would be an article or two, maybe a series of how to I don't know how to say this, like decreepify your house from your stalker ex-husband. I don't know. Like, it was definitely not a great situation that they were in over there, but I think he got it all buttoned up and locked down. He did have like all the keys and everything, like the encryption keys and all. It was all documented. I guess they had all that, but I don't know. It seemed like a lot of work to me. Yeah,
but that is a security thing. Like if you leave the house and you leave all that stuff behind, you know, the person that's still in the house, they may not be aware of all the things that, you know, you may have remote access to or, you know, stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're going to go through this, I'm not wishing this upon anybody, but, you know, tell them to take all their smart home stuff, you know, keep their car, you know, keep their dog, but send them with the smart home stuff, you know, like don't keep that in the house.
Yeah. I mean, especially cameras and that kind of thing, sensors. Yeah. You can always, there's like, you don't know what backdoors are in those things, especially the DIY stuff. I think this was all the ESP homes. There's all ESP home stuff. So, and from what I understand, the guy may have been kind of like doing things to mess with her. So she was all freaked out anyway. So it wasn't a good situation, and like they had to resolve it. And I don't know, it seemed like they went in and put a new Home Assistant thing in, like a new controller, and got everything up and going. So fun. Lots of fun. Take it with you. Scrap it. Because you don't have any shades anymore, which kind of suck. But all right. Well, all the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over at our show notes at HomeTech.fm/491. We've got an interview tonight. We've got Donn Bullock from Vessel Audio. That's a fun interview. Vessel's kind of like a streaming audio device, but it I would say it like compares to the big Sonos thing, right? But they've got a different product lineup, I guess, than what Sonos currently offers or has ever offered. And the way they approach is quite different than Sonos. Kind of actually, Gavin, like how you use Sonos is what it reminded me of.
Yes.
You use AirPlay for everything on Sonos.
Yep.
And that's basically like this product works with AirPlay and
Google Chromecast.
Yeah. And the Spotify Connect, and you could just use it headless. Doesn't need its own app. You can just use your regular old Apple Music app, or I'm not even sure it works with Chromecast. I guess it's like YouTube Music or something like that. You could use that and just feed music right into these things, and no app needed. Don't have to worry about them updating their app and ruining your experience. So it's kind of a different approach. I thought it was kind of a cool product.
Yeah, no, it was honestly a really good interview. I love his energy. Just got some good energy about him. And I love learning about the products. The multi-zone amp, I think, is definitely one of my favorite products. It's a little bit cheaper than doing 6 individual Sonos amps, and it takes up nowhere near as much space.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those nice compact units. And I think it's one of those necessities, especially if you're doing distributed audio for a larger property. This is a perfect item for that. You don't have to worry about compatibility with devices and everything. It just works with everybody's device.
Yeah. I noticed they had a bunch of
Unless you have a Windows phone.
drivers. What is that? I know they had a lot of drivers for like the big main control platforms on their website as well. Control 4, Crestron, that kind of thing. So,
And I have to admit, at first I thought this company was just a competitor for another one, but I actually see that their products fill a void that others don't, especially when they start to get into the rack-mounted 6-zone amps. That fills a void for, I know you guys would love to see that from another company, but they don't want to give it to you. But this company has it, so it's a serious competitor.
I'm trying to think when I started selling Sonos, probably 2009. I don't know. It's like maybe 2010. Like, I don't know. It wasn't too long after it became available. And literally the first thing I would ask would be for a rack mount amplifier with more than one zone built into it. So it's not like they don't know the request there, but I guess headphones are more requested.
Everybody wants headphones.
Yeah. But the rack mount, definitely having a rack mount 6-zone amplifier, it's a pretty awesome piece to have in the arsenal of stuff. Like, it's just a problem solver. Like, if you can say, I can give you Apple Music, I can give you Spotify, I can give you anything, you can cast over to this device in any zone in your house, done. Like, it just makes sense. So with that, let's just jump in the interview here with Donn Bullock. He's the CEO over at Vessel Audio, and we will pick it up on the other side. Well, hey, Donn, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the privilege.
Yeah, no problem. It's always fun to talk to people within the industry and just kind of pick their brains about things that are going on. And what's your personal background? Like, how did you get involved with the audio business?
I've been in the IT business now for over 20 years, and all of my experience comes either via product development or sales and marketing in the IT business. What's interesting is that if someone were to ask me which is happening more, is IT encroaching on audio, or is audio becoming more like IT? It would be difficult to be able to actually distinguish between the two nowadays, because, as we know, many of the IT products that we use today invoke network settings, very advanced software, very advanced hardware products. And truthfully, since I've been the CEO of Vessel, that has been exactly what I've been doing, is focusing on the development of our hardware products, both current and future, the development of our software products, which give us the ability to manage all of the hardware products, and then trying to perfect that user setup and management of those devices vis-a-vis the network. So on a daily basis, I live IT. There is very little distinction between everything that I've done working in some of the largest IT companies in the world and what I do now on a daily basis as CEO of Vessel.
Very nice. Very nice. So Vessel, can you give us kind of like a 10,000 foot view of what Vessel does and what their goal is to bring into the industry?
Absolutely. So we will celebrate our 10th anniversary next year. And when we look back over the history of the company, what we will see is that there has been an evolution of the Vessel product line. In the beginning, the focus was singularly on a line of powered amplifiers and the ability to be able to connect users and the music services that they were listening to with an existing home audio environment, for example. So in the beginning, Vessel was a powered amplifier that I could leverage to create a multi-zone environment, if you will. Think about your home environment. Think about having speakers in your living room, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, whether it's your master or even bedrooms throughout the home. Speakers that you might have in your backyard. In the past, trying to set up those kinds of environments could not only be very complicated, but could also be very expensive. Vessel enables an end user with the ability to be able to not only create zones for each of those environments, but also select what individual music streams they'd like to be able to send to those individual zones and be able to support streaming music to those simultaneously. That really is, I think, the centerpiece of the Vessel model. It's leverage what we call native streaming. It gives us the ability to leverage the music services native application. There's no education required to learn a specific app. You can use the Apple Music or Spotify, the Amazon Music or YouTube Music application that you use today, and then using the Vessel environment connected via AirPlay or Chromecast, I can now stream through the Vessel environment into any one of a number of zones that I can see in my home environment. And that was really the beginning. From there, we then went from the initial powered amplification into on a wired network into our surround sound environment, which is our SX series. So now using wireless technology, we can create a wireless surround sound environment. Gives us the ability to use, again, amazing technology, create very intricate multi-zone environments inside of a home, and be able to stream music as well as audio from movies and TV into that setting. So a very sophisticated technology. We've been spending a lot of time recently in also developing and evolving the Vessel application, because user experience is the most important thing that we can enjoy. We don't want to be a reason that a user can't connect their music service to the audio environment that they want to leverage to be able to listen to it. So we just want to be able to make those interconnections and provide an amazing sound experience for that end user. So that really is the goal of Vessel, is to enhance the audio experience while also providing flexibility and in truth the ability to be able to do more than what we've been able to do in the past in a home audio environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and that's one thing that I think a lot of people, especially people that have been in the audio industry for a while, they kind of forget, is that you can't always do wired speakers wherever you want them. And so having that wireless component I think it is crucial for a whole house audio solution. Obviously if you can put hardwired speakers in the ceiling and the walls and stuff everywhere, that's great. But sometimes you just don't need that. You just need to throw a little wireless speaker in there somewhere and you get that as part of the zone of audio. So I think having that is definitely important.
Well, I can speak from personal experience about that. I recently moved to the St. George, Utah area as part of my becoming the CEO of Vessel. And my wife and I purchased our new home, but we were not able to install the speaker cable prior to the completion of the home. Wanting to have, some amazing speakers for the various, TVs, the movie room upstairs and the living room environment downstairs. The fastest, easiest way to get an amazing home audio experience was actually to leverage the Vessel SX line of surround sound speakers. instantaneously with a soundbar, a subwoofer, and multiple surround sound speakers. You can have a complete surround sound environment in minutes. They set up very easily. You use the Vessel app to be able to connect the devices to the network, and then those devices to each other. And then once you have that zone created, you just associate whatever device it is or streaming service that you want to listen to that zone, and you're listening to some amazing music. So the distinction between the surround sound system and the powered amplifiers, of course, lies within what you hear. Right on the powered amplifier line, our X series line, you're listening to whatever speakers you've already have maybe in your ceiling, in your walls, etc. But for the SX line, you're listening to the speakers that are actually a part of the surround sound environment, and they are amazing. The soundbar is incredible. The subwoofer will actually absolutely shake your home, and we've just recently introduced not only 5.2 but also 7.2 configuration support for surround sound. So now we can do dual subwoofers, which is incredible. They sound absolutely awesome. So not only do I have the privilege of working for an amazing company, but I use our products on a daily basis, and they are absolutely fantastic.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, we don't have to go through, I guess, every single product, but what kind of products can people expect to see when they go to the Vessel website?
Yeah, it's going to be in those two big groups. I would say if you have an existing home environment, then you probably are more interested in our X series line. This will be one of three devices: the A1X, the A3X, or the A6X. The only distinction between those three products is the number of zones that each of them will support. An A1X being a single zone amplifier, an A3X having 3 zones of support, and an A6X having 6 zones. For the record, the A6X is Vessel's number one product by far. That product is very popular amongst our custom installers who do a tremendous amount of home audio installations and are really trying to build very sophisticated, very advanced solutions for their customers. And so wanting to have the ability to send audio to any one of a number of locations inside of a home environment is something that's actually very unique. Not only that, but in these very elaborate environments, now we're moved into what is effectively, and again, I'm going to invoke my IT past, a rack of equipment in a closet somewhere in the environment. And so these are rack dense units that can be installed and configured and connected to existing stereo wire that then kind of interweave throughout the environment to connect those speakers together. If I'm a user that maybe has, I live in an existing home, but maybe not having speakers in ceiling or in wall, but would love to have a surround sound environment. Maybe I want to build out a home theater, or maybe I'd like to be able to both listen to audio for a movie or TV, but also listen to music. I think this is where the SX line of surround sound speakers really comes into play, because here not only do I have the ability to be able to connect a TV to this surround sound environment and listen to some amazing audio for movies, etc. But for that exact same environment, I can now stream music so that I can listen to music in the background, perhaps while I'm in the kitchen or while I'm working out on the back deck, or wherever I might happen to be. I don't have to sacrifice my ability to listen to music at volume based upon where I am in my house, but now I can arrange that as needed, and even more, I can actually move them because they're wireless. If I wanted to or needed to, I could take speakers out to the garage or out into the backyard, etc. Now, Vessel, as a sister company of True Audio, we also have the ability to build these very elaborate backyard setups. And in truth, I have one of those as well, with an in-ground sub and multiple in-ground speakers that are connected to an A1X that gives me the ability to stream music now through that environment wirelessly and into that speaker setup in the backyard to be able to have a very impressive backyard setup for entertainment.
Yeah, those are nice. Have gotten really popular over the past, I don't know, decade or so. Like I remember when they first came out and everybody was oohing and awing over.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah, and it's progressed like it's a great sounding system and kind of easier to install than the horrible sounding rock speakers that we used to put in.
Oh man, rock speakers.
But yeah, it's one of those products I was like, well, we're basically TJ and we're trying to get Gavin to buy one. Basically, Gavin needs one for his backyard. We think so.
He doesn't know it, but I'm bringing him up one in December. So
I need two.
So I guess you kind of covered the hardware products too, but you mentioned, and I know we'll probably talk about some updates and everything, but you mentioned the software side of things. You have an app that it kind of goes along with the products. Is that primarily used for like setup and configuration, or is there more to that than you mentioned? Like I'm looking through the spec sheets here, and they all say native integration with AirPlay, Spotify Connect. You don't need an app for that. Like that's just something I hit play on my phone, and it's playing music where I want it to.
That's right.
What do you guys use your app for?
Yep, it's actually great timing to have the privilege of being with you, because later on this week, we will actually introduce the newest version of the Vessel app. And I've been telling everyone, both internally and externally, this is the most important app that Vessel has ever introduced for a lot of reasons that you've already touched on. The first experience that every user has with the product, of course, is setting the product up. We wanted that to be as simple as out of the box as possible, because we want to help a user get to the ability to enjoy the product as quickly as we can. One of the things, of course, that you just alluded to is that we leverage AirPlay and Chromecast to assist in the setup or the attachment of those devices to the network. But we also use use that technology as well as technology within the chipset that's embedded within the products for the interconnect of those devices. And so for us, the app gives us a couple of things. Number one, facilitates the setup, very easy, very a quick process, leveraging technology that most people are comfortable with, meaning AirPlay or Chromecast. But once that process is complete, then you have now the control element of the Vessel app, which gives you the ability to control volume and EQ settings and sub out crossover, and basically fine tuning the environment according to your specific settings, whether it's in a living room environment or a smaller space, a larger space, however you need to connect. And this is where both we give our users that ability to customize that, but as well, this is where we also lean on our custom installers to help us, because we want that environment to sound as amazing as our customers expect. So for us, the Vessel app is that interface between the hardware and whatever service, whether it's the music streaming or movie audio, etc., that customer might be expecting to enjoy that experience. Ultimately,
but you don't like day to day. You probably wouldn't need to open the Vessel app. Like you could just go straight from Apple Music or Spotify and just hit play. Play in my living room, that kind of thing.
That's it. As a matter of fact, That's what the typical experience is that I will initiate my stream in whatever stream it might happen to be, and this comes back to some of the flexibility that we had discussed a few minutes ago, where I can first of all, I need to pick my music service that I want to use, and then I have to pick where I want to send it. Right, where am I? Am I in my living room? In my study? Am I in my master bedroom, etc.? So the Vessel app basically helps to connect the disparate parts, the music with the environment, and then it steps out of the way.
Gotcha.
All right. So what's the differences between Vessel and some of the other streaming audio devices out there?
There are lots of products, and there's some amazing home audio products that are available. And in my experience to date, I think they all have something that's unique and wonderful about them. From my point of view, again, I think when I think about Vessel, I think, first of all, a diversity of portfolio, but it's really not just about the products. It's also about the business model. And this is sort of part of our target audience, so to speak. When we think about customers, I have to think about customers from a number of different aspects, of which the end user customer is just one of those constituencies, right? The end user customer is the daily user of the device, and they're the ones who get to experience the benefit of their investment. But at the same time, I have other constituencies that I have to consider, and this is really in my view, one of the unique benefits of working with Vessel is that we also are focused on the custom installer market, helping them to leverage products that not only are easy to integrate into an existing environment, but as it pertains to business, help them to make more money selling our products than they can selling anyone else's products in the market. And that really is an important distinction to make, because ultimately custom installers are bidding on very large projects. They have to be very competitive. And so we want to not only give them the ability to highlight some of the things that they can create for an end user by virtue of the not just the Vessel products, but how the Vessel product fits into a larger environment, but also be able to create that and configure that for that end user very easily, and then support that user on an ongoing basis, right? That's the thing, is that we not only want the application to be easy to use for the end user, but also easy to explain for the installer or the dealer that's selling that product. We have a complete channel. We have over a dozen distributors globally. We have over 1,000 dealers and custom installers globally. And our opportunity is to partner with each of them to be able to not only sell Vessel products and represent those products to our end user customers, but also, more importantly, to leverage Vessel and its portfolio as we build more grandiose and complete integrated solutions for home audio for our end customers today and into the future.
I noticed most of the products are network based.
Yes.
Wireless too. Like a lot of them I've kind of been looking through. Most of them do have a hard, network port on them. I haven't run across too many that don't, but I imagine that having those two customers you just talked about, that is probably a really challenging aspect of this product, to provide support and troubleshooting capabilities when issues come up with customers, because each individual network is going to be different. Integrators have their own ideas of what makes a solid network.
Absolutely.
It might be a little bit different than what maybe an IT professional might have. And then the homeowner might have a completely different idea of what makes a proper network, and their ISP, like Comcast or whoever, may just be all they have, and they just drop off the Comcast router. So having that like broad range of, I don't know, it's like the foundation of your product. What types of issues do you run into there? How do you handle those with Vessel within the company?
Yeah, there's so many ways to take this part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So for us, we started.
You could just say it's the network and kick on this.
It's true. For us, we started with the product, and again, the challenge in the beginning was creating a product that was either a wired or a wireless device. We do have several products that are both wired and wireless to give our end customers as well as our dealers some choice and flexibility. As the product line continued to evolve, and as our networking capabilities also matured, we were also able to work more effectively within the chipset that enables these products to better perform in these types of highly networked environments. I'll give you a specific example. So our goal is to not only be able to work in a single family home, but also be able to work in areas where there could be a signal dense environment. And so I have to be cognizant of signal interference that I might be subject to from lots of other Wi-Fi devices, lots of other signals that could inadvertently influence the reliability of the interconnects between the different devices. And so over time, as our capabilities have matured and as we have worked within the product to be able to ensure that we're able to provide that the best connection possible, not only when we're setting the products up, but also when the products themselves are performing, that's been critical. That's absolutely been one of the focal points, not only of the product line over time, but indeed of this most recent update of the application, is what we're doing within the products themselves to be able to more convincingly perfect that interconnect. So what we try not to do is blame, as we're just joking about, blame the network and walk away. What we want to do is help the end user and help the dealer to be able to understand what are the circumstances or what are the potential impediments to being able to create an effective setup for a given environment. And then how can we work around those? And we've discovered some tips and tricks that enable us to do that. We've also done a lot of things in firmware that enable us to be able to overcome signal interference. And of course, we integrate that into the Vessel app to be able to help an end user to be able to work around those things. And again, it's not complicated technology, it's just complex technology. And our goal, our opportunity is to be able to simplify that for the benefit of our end users and certainly for our dealers who are looking to support those individuals. We do get a lot of calls.
Yeah,
we do get quite a few calls from end users, but as well from a lot of dealers trying to troubleshoot environments. And for that, I am incredibly grateful for Vessel's technical support team, who have a tremendous amount of experience because, again, by and large, there aren't any circumstances regarding networking that we haven't seen or experienced. In truth, we do a lot of troubleshooting on our own. I've been spending an incredible amount of time troubleshooting our newest products with new firmware and the new Vessel app to ensure that it delivers the experience that we want to deliver for our end users and for our dealers. And so I'm incredibly excited about what we're going to be able to do with the new app. Very excited about what we're doing in the current portfolio, and really looking forward to what we're going to be doing down the road.
And I know you touched on the app a few times there. And I know I could see the excitement with this new app coming. Like,
you think I'm excited about that app?
It feels like a lot of work finally coming to fruition with this app.
This app is like my coming out party. I've pretty much been working on this app for the entirety of my tenure so far at.
Oh my gosh!
So again, not embellishing at all. It is without dispute the most important app that we've ever introduced.
What's the biggest feature of the new app that people have to look forward to?
Dual sub.
Oh yeah.
So for the very first time, we'll support both a 5.2 and a 7.2 configuration. So in the SX line, you can have a single soundbar, 2 subs, and then up to 4 SX speakers. And it sounds amazing. It absolutely will shake your house. I am incredibly excited to hear feedback from our dealers and customers as they start to deploy that.
That's awesome. Yeah, especially the 7.2. I mean, 7.2 is such a big difference. I think a lot of people have just gotten used to terrible audio. And when they hear the difference between like a good audio system and like their TV speakers or their little Google speaker they bought for $20, a lot of times they're just amazed. And so being able to hear that 7.2, I'm sure is one of those amazing features, especially when it's wireless for the most part.
Absolutely. Again, quickly being able to deploy it, don't have to pull cable. And then, as we were just talking about a few minutes ago, being able to go within the app and be able to balance the speakers based upon their location within within the room relative to each other. Balance the bass, balance the sound bar relative to how far it is or how close it is to you relative to the shape of your room. It's an amazing amount of control is given to the end user through the app, and an amazing amount of technology is delivered to that end user inside of those products. It is truly an amazing line of products. We are incredibly proud of the SX line.
All right. So we have some fun questions here, and this doesn't have to be necessarily Vessel related. So you don't have to, we know how much you love Vessel, but what is your favorite audio device? Do you have something that is absolutely, that you just absolutely love?
Well, might be a little bit biased and certainly not inventive in this answer. I'm an amazing advocate for just my iPhone. I think it is an incredible device. I go back to the early days of the iPod. I remember the very first iPod that I ever got, and that was such to me, this paradigm shift, because I was one of those guys that was buying CDs and using Winamp to rip MP3s and trying to figure out how to carry those around, and you put them on a memory stick and you're trying to figure out which one of your apps to play on your computer. I mean, so that to me was where I started, and I can remember going all the way back to the 80s when my uncle got his very first CD player, and that was our entree into digital music, which I thought was amazing. But then as the industry progressed and evolved, and we then had the opportunity to effectively bite off individual tracks into something that we could carry with us. That to me was just amazing. The iPod completely changed it, just by virtue of giving us a music store where we could go and actually buy those tracks and not have to, rip MP3s on a daily, trying to figure out how to get what we wanted to listen to directly, directly accessible to us. The iPhone just takes it to another level. I mean, who would have thought years ago that we would be able to have access to literally every track that's ever been produced?
That's actually really good answer, because you brought back a lot of painful memories for me, like walking around with my Discman and it's skipping while you were walking type of memories, right?
100%. Yeah. I mean, again, you're now, just think about it. Go back and now you're just like, oh man, I don't have to. I mean, if I just want that one song, I can just buy that one song. Yeah, absolutely. You can just buy the one song.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if the statute of limitations are over, but someone I may have known may have downloaded a bunch of songs way back in the day from various companies.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Napster and whatnot.
Maybe some digital songs fell off the truck.
They just fell off the truck, and I may or may not have had many of those that they gave to me, it wasn't like you listen, like you say, you don't listen to the entire album. You listen to like one or two songs off of it that were your favorite. You make a mixtape or a mix CD, and that's what you want. You put that in your car, and you'd have 60, 72 minutes. By the book, 72 minutes of audio that you could listen to, and you just had a whole book of those CDs sitting next to you, and don't let them sit in the sun too long. But they like going from that to just, I mean, it was almost overnight. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna pay for those. They're 99 cents or whatever. It's like no, it's like done. Yeah, all right, good. $5 later, I'm good to go have all that I want. And nowadays, like how the streaming technology has kind of taken over, or that the streaming industry has taken over, it's so much easier just to play anything and everything you want, like you said.
Absolutely. No question to it. As a matter of fact, I was having a fascinating discussion with my son recently, and we were talking about records. And of course, I know that, there is people go back and forth about records, and some people like to collect them and listen to them, and I know that there is a substantial appeal, but to me, I even asked him, we were going back and using terms like 33s and 45s and those kinds of things, but again, if you go back to that point in your life, music was fun. It was inspirational. It was, as a part of my growing up. I can think back about very specific albums, very specific songs that have meaning to me. But when you left home, you left that with you. And I think this is really that opportunity. And again, it was a very sort of non-inspirational answer with regard to the iPhone, but I believe that really is now the centerpiece of so much. It's not just our ability to carry these things with us, but it's to be able to have access to that inspiration whenever we want it, whenever we require it, whenever we want to either feel that sense of nostalgia to a specific song from the 80s or 90s that really spoke to us, or look for that inspiration right now when we're getting ready to go out, for a bike ride or for a run. And I believe, again, that technology has completely changed the way we interact and with our music, but also relate to different times in our lives when music has meant one thing or another to us as individuals.
Great answer. Great answer.
Yeah. I was judging a little bit when you said it at first. I'm not going to lie, but when you went through it and everything, that's a pretty good answer. So I'll take it. That is a good answer.
Yeah, TJ has another funny one here, but I think I know the answer. Do you have a favorite speaker technology? And I think it's going to be dual subs. I think that's probably going to be your answer. It's got to be dual subs.
So I have to say that well, first of all, the most amazing product within the Vessel portfolio is no doubt the A6X. It is inside of a single 2U, which for non-IT. That's basically so a 1U is 1.75 inches. So in about a space about 3.5 inches tall, I can get six zones of music streaming capability. There is no question why that's our most popular product. But I will say personally that my favorite product is the soundbar. It is just as easy and smooth as silk to set up. And it sounds amazing just by itself. When you start attaching 1, 2 subs plus speakers, it just becomes even more so. But just by itself, out of the box, it is an amazing technology. It is incredibly fun to be able to talk to people about. It is really fun to demo, and I love listening to it. It is absolutely a pleasure.
You still managed to slip dual subs into that, so I'm gonna put that as your answer.
Dual subs.
I'm telling you, when you can shake your house with 2 little boxes over in the corners, then yeah, that's a statement.
All right, well, Donn, thanks so much for your time. I know you've got some big plans with the app that's coming out, and I know you're excited about that. But what's next for Vessel? What's on the horizon?
Absolutely, we're continuing to work on our roadmap for the remaining part of this year. We've got new products coming out at the end of this year. We've got new products coming in the middle of next year. We've got new products coming towards the end of next year. It is going to be an absolute amazing 12 to 18 months at Vessel. We've got a lot of things that are going on just by virtue of technology refreshes and updates, things that we want to do to our portfolio. Things that we want to do as a company, right? As Vessel, as a portfolio company of Sound Vision Technologies, is able to leverage technologies of some of our sister companies like True Audio and Alta Labs, and by virtue of having access to and as a component of a larger portfolio, we'll be doing more things as a family of companies into the future, not just singularly Vessel. So again, exciting things happening at Vessel, also exciting things happening at Sound Vision and with our sister companies, Alta Labs and True Audio.
Nice. And if listeners want to find out more about Vessel, maybe go buy 1 or 2 or 2 subs, maybe. How can they do that? Where can they find out more about Vessel?
Absolutely. So the website, vessel.com, VSSL.com, is the location for information about the products. If anyone has feedback or questions, they are more than welcome to send those questions, feedback to me at donn@vessel.com. And I'll be more than happy to either put them in touch with a dealer that can facilitate installation or conversation about home audio solutions to be able to help them to build out their environment. And as a special offer, if there are any listeners who would like to purchase products, if they will send me a message, then I'll absolutely give them a discount. In addition, if they decide that they want to buy an SX speaker, I can not only give them a huge discount on an SX speaker, but if they will send me a logo, I will have that logo engraved for them on the speaker. So I will customize an SX speaker.
I see Gavin's already typing.
Yeah.
The size that they want.
And send.
I might have to jump on that one.
Yeah, that sounds like a great deal. All right, Donn, what's the email address one more time?
Yep. DONN at Vessel, VSSL.com.
Awesome. Well, Donn, thanks so much for your time today and all those special offers here at the end. Really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the time today.
All right. And I again want to thank Donn for his time today. We actually talked quite a bit with Donn right after the show, and he was very generous with his time. So, and generous with the offers there at the end. That's pretty cool. I think Gavin's already ordered a couple of things.
I loaded up my cart. I just can't press buy.
Didn't take him long.
I mean, you got away with a 3D printer, so you can definitely get away with some speakers.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I think I'm going to take him up on his offer. I've been wanting one of these little SX speakers, so it'd be nice to fill into the other rooms that I have and give it a shot. It looks like a nice device. One of my favorite little physical features about it is it still has that little threaded rod adapter, so you can just mount it up wherever you want to.
Oh, yeah.
This little silly little mount that like clamps onto the speaker in a weird way or something.
I feel like I've missed a whole part of the. I mean, I still got my old Sonos stuff from 2016. Hasn't really changed any, and everybody else has the AirPlay 2 stuff going now, and I feel like I've missed a whole generation of house audio because of it. But I'll have to see what I can do here too. It looks like a pretty cool product.
Honestly, the AirPlay is really nice to have, and that's what I like about the Vessel as well. Is it does have the AirPlay and the Chromecast, but just having AirPlay is so nice because you can just have multiple speakers. So if I want to buy this SX speaker and throw it in with my Sonos stuff,
It fits right in.
That's fine. Yeah. It'll work, with all the music and everything like that. And utilizing Home Assistant, I can still group them all together like I normally do with my Sonos speakers. So I think that's pretty nice.
All right. Well, we have some feedback here in the mailbag from Pat. He writes in, "Hey guys, my sticker finally arrived. Yay! Thanks so much. This will be the pride of the place on my Home Assistant server once my house renovation is done," which leads me on to a suggestion. I know your focus is primarily North America, but how about covering tech solutions from other regions? For example, I'm using KNX for my home house automation. It's a fully wired solution, but wireless is also available. No batteries and no Wi-Fi interference with Zigbee. It's expensive, but the response times are excellent. Also, there are integrations for Home Assistant and Node-RED, so lots of flexibility there. Thanks again, Pat. He's out in Ireland. Wow. So that didn't take long. The stickers to get to Ireland.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's pretty quick.
Irish post.
I guess my 3 stamps work. I was looking up, I was Googling, I was like, how many stamps do I need to send this to Ireland and Japan and stuff? And it was like, I don't know, 3. And let's give it a shot. So
I bet they don't even look at it. I bet they're just like, yeah, there's a stamp on here. Send it.
Whatever. We don't care.
Yeah.
Bill America. That's what happens.
Exactly.
No, but so I've heard of KNX, but honestly, we don't have much KNX over here.
It's not here. Yeah.
And it's hard for me to follow the European home automation industry because I just don't know much about it. And so there's stuff that pops up because we do have listeners that are in the UK and other areas. And once in a while, somebody will send us a news article and link us to something, a new product that's coming out and stuff like that. And that's really cool. But I guess I'm not privy to what happens in those industries. And I don't know how to find that news out, I guess. I get a lot of my news from American-based websites. So It's hard to make that pivot. But I don't know, if you find something that's cool or somebody's coming out with some new product or something like that, and you think we should talk about it, send it over to the feedback email and we'll talk about it on the show. Yeah.
I've come across KNX only in relations to buildings in the European Union, primarily Germany. I think it's very popular there.
Yeah, really Germany. That's where Luxon was started to, I think.
Luxon. Yeah, Luxon. Sense. Yeah, they have their own thing as well. I think they also have KNX capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking, I'm just trying to find, so here from 2019, a view from America, the first KNX intelligent commercial building in the United States. So it took them till 2019 to do anything with with KNX. And this actually comes with, it's around the corner from you. It's the ABB facility in Highland Hills, Ohio. So, yeah, you're going to have to go visit this place.
What is this?
Yeah, ABB. They brought in like Dolly as well. I think they had some like Dolly lights with KNX controls. I've seen ABB at CEDIA a couple of years ago. I don't think they're there anymore. So I just don't know how big of a push to get KNX and Dolly there is right now. One of the major manufacturers for lighting major in our industry, I guess I would say, did decide to pick up and use Dolly. So that at least is coming, but I don't know. I just have not seen KNX pick up here. So it is a cool project protocol standard, I guess. Because it is like a hardwired thing, and they do have like you said, they do have the wireless version of it. But I don't know. It just never took off here. We like our dumb switches, and pulling extra wire would just confuse the electrician, I think.
Well, that's true. You're not wrong there.
TJ, you're gonna have to. Where's this Highland Hills, Ohio?
It's up near Cleveland, so it's like 2 hours away, probably. Let's see here.
Different direction, yeah.
Let me Google it. Nope, that's wrong button. It is 2 hours and 15 minutes away.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'll drive there with my microphone. I'll be like, hey, let me in.
Let me in. I need to talk to your KNX.
I want to do automation stuff. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I'm curious if there's anybody else who's used KNX like in a residential setting. But yeah, the fact that like the first building in America got KNX, they're the commercial building, I guess. Got it. And I would think that KNX is a perfect solution in most commercial installs. The way I know it to set up and be programmed and everything, it would do very well in commercial. I'm just surprised it's taken them this long to kind of break into the US market, but it's hard to do. It is hard to do. So we'll see what happens to KNX over the years. We'll try and keep an eye on it. I know there's like a ton of European companies that pop up from time to time that offer some really, really cool keypads and controls and devices that are KNX compatible. I certainly have wished over the years that we had access to any one of those, but unfortunately it just hasn't been in the works. So we'll see what happens. And if we see anything more come out of ABB, then, we'll talk about it.
ABB. Yeah, you know me.
But I'm glad Pat got his sticker though. That's the important.
That's good. It made it to Ireland.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Pick of the week. We got a really good one here, courtesy of Jack Thompson in our hub. And Jack not only automated a toilet, but he trained his cat to poo in a toilet. So the cat will go into the bathroom, into the toilet, and then like he can tell Alexa to flush the toilet. And, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So there you go.
Yeah. First of all, amazing that you can train a cat to use a toilet. I mean, I've seen it done before.
Above and beyond.
It's just, I bought a $900 automated litter box so I wouldn't have to do this, and because I'm lazy, but it's cool to see other people do that. And yeah, it's one of those things that like he originally posted and was like, does anybody have a way to automatically flush a toilet? And I was like, well, actually, we talked about this with the SwitchBot thing like several months ago on the show. Mm-hmm. And I linked him to it, and he's like genius. And so he got all the stuff for it and he did it. And yeah, it's an automatic cat flushing toilet.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I think this is our first pick of the week, though, that you have to be a member of our Slack channel to see. So if you're not a member, you should donate $1 to become a member, and then you'll see this video.
I'll put oh my gosh. Did he not only did he hook up the SwitchBot, he also has the SwitchBot remote. he's able to use it to flush the toilet. So he's got one of these fancy remote control toilets now.
Heck yeah.
He didn't have to pay Toto, what, $1,500 for a toilet. He's probably under $100.
No, this was brilliant. And I'm just going to challenge him to take it to the next level. I want that toilet to auto flush.
Yes.
Either train your cat to press the button after it's done to flush the toilet, or let's put some smarts in there. You could be like, the weight sensor to determine when the cat's off the toilet. You could do, you could hook that camera into Blue Iris. I don't know how long you'll have that camera facing the toilet. I mean, that's some seriously breach
It's kind of an
cat
awkward
privacy,
angle.
you know?
Even the cat doesn't look too happy about it.
Yeah, I don't think the cat's too happy. It had to go, it looks like. But if you're going to leave it there, let's get some Blue Iris in there so that it detects when the cat has left the toilet, you know? We can then flush it. There's so many things we could do with this, but let's take it to the next level and get it to auto flush.
Cat was thinking, he's like, I can't believe this guy is selling these videos on OnlyFans. Told him not to do that anymore.
The cat on toilet videos on OnlyFans. There's got to be a market for it.
Only cats.
Only cats, yeah.
Oh my God.
New domain, Seth, get it.
I was already doing that, TJ. Jeez.
Speaking of which, we need to find a manufacturer. It's probably somebody that's well versed in yoga pants to make us router hats.
Only cats already exist.
What is it?
It's great, actually. It's perfectly fine. We'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Well, if it's great, then I don't
It's
want
adorable.
Only cats.
Only cats coming soon. Powered by GoDaddy.
If you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the weeks, automatic toilet flushing devices you've come up with, great ideas for the show, give us a shout. Email address is feedback@hometech.fm, or you can visit hometech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, project updates. I think Gavin, you've wait a minute, Gavin. I know what that stands for. You've been cheating on us again.
Uh-oh.
Kevin.
It's not that bad, buddies. It was just, I had another appearance on Home Gadget Geeks, and that was last week. So what was the exact episode of it?
It literally told nobody. I just want to point that out. Like, I didn't find out until I got pinged, because I'm in the little Discord channel, and Jim, posts, and he's like, tags everybody. He's like, hey, we're going to be on tonight with Gavin. And I'm like, what the heck?
It was show, you know why I don't tell anybody? It was show 615 of Home Gadget Geeks. I was on there. We talked about a lot of things, 3D printing, automations, etc., etc. But I did post an update on my OnlyFans, and that's how the people found out about it. So
it's paid content.
Yeah, it's paid content. I can't give it away free. I got subscribers to please. So, yeah, just check out Home Gadget Geeks episode 615, and I was there. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a pretty good episode. I listened live, and you did a good job, Gavin.
Thank you very much. You guys, you set the bar high, so I try to just make everybody happy.
All right. Well, we'll definitely put a link to it in the show notes. I didn't have any projects done. I still don't have anything done. I have a lot. Do you know how much, like, after you go camping and you get any amount of rain or moisture, how much you have to clean up after you get back? It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's always the worst part. Let everything air out and stuff.
All I hear is excuses.
See, I hear the laundry going off in the other room is what I hear. So I haven't finished that yet. Now I'm trying to work my way through it, but yeah, man. That and everybody saved all their messages for me, of course. So they're like, oh, you were out on vacation. We didn't want to bug you with anything, but here's all the stuff that you missed and have to deal with now. So thanks. Love that. So
20,000 contacts. That's always fun.
Yep. But that's what I've been up to. And then I think TJ, you've had a couple of you've been busy at work doing work projects, right?
I've been doing everything, guys. So I this week I decided to start redoing my electrical in my house. So I went through and cut a bunch of holes and run a new Romex wire. So I got one room of outlets done and 5 rooms of lighting done. So I only have 4 or 5 more rooms to go. I don't know. But I'm just redoing all the wiring. None of the wiring has grounds, which is not a super important thing, but it looks better when your outlets have grounds, and everything works with it. So we switched out the outlets to ones that had ground plugs on them when we moved in, even though you're not allowed to without labeling them, because I was not going to buy a bunch of adapters and rip off ground plugs and stuff like that. So I was just like, nope, I'm just going to install these outlets. When before we sell the house, I'll switch them back, or we'll install new electrical, and we're at the new electrical phase. So.
We had a bunch of those growing up with the little gray adapter things.
Yeah, the little 2-prong adapters. Yeah, and that's how our fridge is plugged in right now and a couple other things, but I'm not going to deal with that. And our house is small, so I can access all of our house through the attic. Our house is like 1,100 square feet, so it's not like I really need that much wire. I redid the one room of electrical outlets and like the 5 rooms of lighting for like $150.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, can't beat that. And then today, guys, I was at work and somebody rang my doorbell. And usually I don't answer the doorbell during the day because I'm like, well, I'm at work, so I can't help you with whatever your problem is.
Because you're a millennial and we just don't answer anything on our phones.
Well, and I just like, I'm at work, so I can't help you with whatever your problem is. You know what I mean? But like, I just looked at it and I was like, oh, this guy's got a yellow shirt on. That's weird. So I contacted through the doorbell. But for some reason it was like breaking up. And all I heard was, we're going to tow your car. And I was like, okay, you need to call me. So he called my phone and he's like, hey, you had a water main break in front of your house. You need to move your car. We're going to tow it. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, water main broke and we have to get a dump truck here so we can fix this water main. And so I had to rush home real quick. I was on a job and I looked at my client, or I called my client because he was somewhere else. And I was like, hey, I got to run. I'll be back in like an hour and a half. So I went home and moved the car so it wouldn't have to get towed.
And you have a big water mess in front of your lawn, or they fix it up?
It's all like dirt and stuff. Yeah, they actually fixed it. I have the whole time-lapse video of it from Blue Iris, so I'm going to look at that. I found the exact second that it like blew up in the yard. It was like a little mini geyser. It was like bloop. Just exploded in the yard and then just water gushing everywhere. It was great. So whenever I get that, I'll post it on the Mastodon server.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, just getting my automations refined. I've been doing all the Philips Hue everywhere, and I've got motion sensors coming out of my rear end everywhere. So I'm trying to refine my motion sensor stuff. So turning on lights as quick as possible and not turning off lights while I'm still in the room and everything. In some of my rooms, I have like 3 motion sensors and like a presence sensor because I hate when lights turn off and I'm still in there. So, there's a couple different rooms where you can enter from like 2 or 3 different areas. And I want, as soon as I walk into the area, for the lights to turn on. And the best way to do that is with multiple motion sensors. So I've been working on that in the meantime of working in the attic, running my new electrical. So,
wow.
And that's where the millimeter wave comes into play too. Cause that stuff the most annoying thing is when the lights turn off on you because no motion is detected, right? But with the millimeter wave, you don't have that issue. So hopefully more companies start to, integrate that.
What I really want to happen is millimeter wave recess lights. I just want a recess light that has millimeter wave sensors built into it.
It makes sense.
You can mount one next to it if you want. Power is there.
Yeah, it's ugly though.
I've noticed they have like a cone that's fairly small. I mean, I guess if you had multiple recess lights, yeah, it would cover it a little bit better. But I wish I want them to look better.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and have they just need to look better, and you could use them in the corner of the house or in the corner like where nobody would notice, and they would work right. Like the Akara one I have is great. It just looks awful. And it has this giant USB cable that runs out of it to power it. So what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
One day someone will make one. Vessel. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, come on.
They seem to make the products that we beg for.
Can you make the clapper too? Are you in that industry?
Yeah, the Zigbee clapper.
Yeah. I think Agnes is going to do it for us.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through the Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you can actually see the pick of the week this week, because that's where it is. It's posted in there, and it's a cool video, and you should go check it out. If you want to help out but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up the news this week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
I need some backyard speakers. Rock speakers.